Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for coming out. We really appreciate your attendance. It turned out to be a nice break in the weather, so hopefully we'll get this ceremony in before another break in the weather. I'm pleased to welcome all of my fellow HERC Reynolds employees standing here in front of us, as well as distinguished guests. Obviously, we have Governor Rick Scott. We have Bonita Springs Mayor Peter Simmons and Lee County Commissioner Brian Hammond. Today we're marking a simple milestone signage on our building, as you can all see over our left shoulders here. This sign formally introduces ourselves to the Bonita Springs community. It's a small sign, but it symbolizes a much greater vision. As most of you know, on July 1st, 2016, HERC Reynolds became an independent, publicly traded company. So this sign affirms our new beginning and our bright future. It's appropriate that Governor Scott has joined us today, since he was instrumental in bringing our business, and indirectly many of us, to this beautiful state, the Southwest Florida region, and of course the Bonita Springs community. We know he and his staff are still very, very busy with recovery efforts related to Hurricane Matthew, so we greatly appreciate his time here today. And now I'm pleased to introduce Governor Rick Scott.
So my grandsons are here, and we live in Naples, and so I hope it doesn't mess up any of the equipment. The older one wants to be a policeman, a paratrooper, and he wants to build things. So he was excited about coming today, and his brother just shows up whenever he's told to by his bigger brother. So, but congratulations. How many people lived here how many people didn't live here in 2010? Isn't that great? So I ran on a campaign to get our state back to work. This state had lost 800,000 jobs in 4 years before I got elected, and now we've added 1,191,000 jobs, and you're part of it. So congratulations. Now, if you're the governor of a state, you want to have all the jobs in your state. It is easier when the weather's better, the taxes are lower, and we have really nice people that live here. So I know, how many of you moved from New Jersey? So I like your governor, but I can't tell him all the time. Your taxes are way too high, and the weather's way worse. So we're glad you're here. So what's exciting today for us is that we have more jobs here, but you're going to have another great publicly traded company that's going to provide great services. So thank you for all the jobs you have here. But what's exciting today, HERC.
Your grandson's saying hello.
He's going to find everything. What's exciting today is HERC's adding up to 300 jobs, hopefully more here as you expand right here in Florida, and you've come from all over the world to work here. I love the fact you already have 14 branches here. I hope you have way more. I hope your revenues grow really rapidly here, and you're very successful here. So I had the opportunity to meet Larry before, and I know he's been a very successful business person and has built a great team here. So congratulations. I know the mayor loves it that you're right here in Bonita, yes. And Brian Hammond loves it you're right here in Lee County. So congratulations. If there's anything I can do, I have 819 days to go. And anything I can do in my job, just let me know. Have a great day.
And now I'm pleased to introduce Lee County Commissioner Brian Hammond.
Well, I tell you what, every politician needs somebody sitting there with a horn to let them know when they've talked too long. Just honk that thing if I've gone on too long, guys. Well, it is great to be here. It's great to have you here, Governor Scott, Larry Silver. It's great to have you guys here. I got to tell you, we, as somebody who was born and raised here in Lee County, growing up here, we didn't have these kinds of opportunities. You know, you could go into our wonderful tourism industry, or we've got a very robust construction industry, but those were about your only opportunities. It brings me great joy to see companies like HERC open up here in Lee County. And basically what it highlights is the fact that the Florida model works. Governor Scott has created over 1 million jobs here in Florida, and his model works. And a big component of that model is basically you got to get the government out of the way of the job creators. It's a model we followed here in Lee County. We've tried to get the government out of the way of the job creators. Just this week, we got rid of a fee, not a big fee, but we got rid of a fee that we were charging local builders, local plumbers, local electricians to register their state certified contractor's license here locally in Lee County. So get this, they'd spend hundreds of dollars to prove their competency to the state to work as a builder, plumber, or electrician somewhere, anywhere in the state, and you'd come to Lee County and we'd charge you a $25 fee just to file your state license away. We got rid of that fee. We don't want business owners to have to chase around and make sure that they've got their little fees renewed in every single county. We want them to be spending time creating jobs and ultimately providing more opportunity for your families. So it's great to be here with you. We wish you much success and congratulations on the new sign. It looks great. Thank you all.
And now I'd like to welcome Bonita Springs Mayor Peter Simmons.
Thank you very much and welcome to Bonita Springs. You know, I had a quick conversation with some folks here. They're like, well, wait a second, is there a different mayor down in Naples? You literally are about as far south as you can be and still be in Lee County. But welcome to Bonita Springs. We're very glad to have you here. Welcome back, Governor Scott. Governor Scott is here often. You know, he's a governor that, you know, he's a show horse and he's a workhorse. You know, he's both. Sometimes you kind of get one or the other. And you know, when he ran for governor 6 years ago, his theme or his motto was "Let's get to work." Well, Governor Scott, I'd like to give you a round of applause for all your hard work and your efforts the past 6 years. And you know, when he ran for re-election, he said, "Let's keep working." Well, as you can see, through his efforts and through his business-friendly approach and low taxes and business-friendly environment, you've heard that he's created over 1 million jobs since he's been governor. I want to look down just for a second and give you a few local statistics. There's been 1 million jobs statewide. In fact, there were over 18,000 jobs created in the month of September alone, and that's up 24%. Locally here in Bonita Springs, because of Governor Scott's leadership, we've created just over 1,100 jobs since FY14, 1,145 to be exact, and that's up 122%. We've rented out a lot of square footage on commercial. That we're up over 650,000 square feet of rented commercial space since FY14, and that's up 142%. And that's on new businesses. On all businesses, existing, new, and relocation, we're up 107% with jobs and 132% on commercial space. So welcome to Bonita Springs. Governor Scott, thank you for your leadership, and we're here to talk about jobs, but as you also know, recently, unfortunately, we had Hurricane Matthew, and Governor Scott was everywhere around the state, so he absolutely rose up his sleeves and get things done, and with his continued leadership, we're going to have more success stories like I know we have here today. So thank you very much. Welcome to Bonita Springs, and thank you, Governor Scott.
And now I'd like to introduce a gentleman that you all know very well, our President and CEO, Larry Silver.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Mayor Simmons, Governor Scott, and Commissioner Hammond for joining us here today. You know, as you've heard, on July 1st, HERC Rentals became a separate, publicly traded independent company as we separated from our parent and neighbor up the street, HERC's car rental business. We are the third largest equipment rental company in the world, and we're proud to say that our operations are based here in Bonita Springs, and Bonita Springs will play a vital role in our success in the future. And now with our new sign that you can see on the far end of the building there, how do you like that? People like that? It's even nicer at night when you ride by and it's lit up. We thought it was appropriate to officially introduce our company to the community and show our appreciation for being part of the Florida community at large. And we believe that the success that the governor has had in Florida and what he's done will carry over into our business as well. I'll share a few things with you about our business. In 2015, we had $1.7 billion in revenues. We own an equipment rental fleet like some of the equipment you see in front of me and that the governor's grandchildren are playing on that is in excess of $3.5 billion in original equipment cost. And we spend approximately $1 billion a year on both fleet and non-fleet expenditures. We have approximately 4,700 people worldwide. 460 of those people work across our operations in Florida. 220 here in this building. And Mayor, as you've talked about square footage that's rented, we're in the process of negotiating for half of the second floor, so there'll be more square footage rented here in Florida pretty soon. And we're based here in Bonita Springs, as I said before. In addition, we operate 280 equipment rental locations around the world, 270 of which are in North America, and 14 of which are here in Florida, with our closest branch being up just behind the Fort Myers airport in Fort Myers. The Florida branches accounted for in excess of $70 million in revenue in 2015, or about 4% of our total revenue. And all of our global field operations are supported out of this building. And that's why we refer to this as our Field Operations Support Center. We do have some executives here. We don't call it an executive headquarters because our executives are just overhead. So everybody you see here and around us are really here to support all of the 280 branches that are outside of this location. Our Field Support Center moved here from New Jersey in 2014 as a unit of the HERC Corporation. In the first year that we were here, and you talked about hiring in this county, there were 42 people, most of which transferred from New Jersey here. In 2015, we hired 49 more people, and so far in 2016, we've added 95 additional employees. Over the course of the next 12 months, we plan to add somewhere between 40 and 60 additional employees that will be taking on new roles and responsibilities as we grow. Over the same period, we've hired an additional 120 employees across our Florida branch operations. We recently opened two new locations in Florida, one in what we call South Miami, but it's in a community called Cutler Ridge, and we've also opened one in Lakeland, Florida. As a result, we've added more than 300 talented and dedicated employees to our Florida operations since 2014. And as I said, as we continue to grow, we'll add more high-paying white-collar and blue-collar jobs to the Florida community. In fact, as I said, we're working to add space here to be able to add more employees in this building. I was not with HERC Rentals when I made the decision to join the company and move to the Field Operations Support Center. Really decided to move and take the job sight unseen, and then we found Naples, and I think we found paradise. We're glad to be a part of the Bonita Springs community, and we look forward to the opportunities of not only myself, but all of our staff and all of our employees to become more involved here in the local Bonita Springs community, in the county activities, as well as in all of Southwest Florida. That involvement includes a byproduct of our core business, which is renting equipment to enable customers to work efficiently, effectively, and safely. It also includes our ability to quickly respond at national disasters like Hurricane Matthew. Bruce Dressel, our Chief Operating Officer, and his team recently responded and mobilized numerous pieces of equipment to help all of our friends and neighbors in North Florida, and in particular help dry out the ancient St. Augustine Church in St. Augustine, Florida. I'm proud that our people were able to mobilize ahead of the hurricane, be prepared, and be able to respond when disaster struck. We had a number of pieces of equipment brought to FEMA sites, as well as I mentioned the Basilica Cathedral. And we also got the opportunity to dry out the facilities in Daytona just ahead of Bike Week, so Bike Week can happen over in Daytona. We're proud to call Florida our home, and we're also anticipating becoming a bedrock member of the Bonita Springs community. I want to thank Governor Scott for his leadership and support as we work to grow our business, create more jobs here, and further contribute to the local and state economy. I'd be remiss if I didn't add that we're especially appreciating the governor's steady hands leading up to and ahead of what was happening after Hurricane Matthew, and certainly the aftermath. I can now say I've lived through 2 hurricanes. One was Sandy in New Jersey, and glad to be here, Governor. And I'm pleased to, at this point, before I ask Governor Scott to come back, we've sort of developed a chair here for the company, and our chief from Boston and has moved here, is going to help lead us in that chair, and then we'll invite you to close the ceremony. Thank you again.
Okay, team. We are
Team HERC!
We are
Team HERC!
We are
Team HERC!